And then you edit it before you post it?
No, it just goes live.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Nick Haeling podcast. I am Nick Haeling. This is our third episode. We are very lucky today to have, is it Ronnie Izagiri?
Yes.
Izagiri. Awesome. We are very lucky to have him here today, and he is with us. We connected on a Facebook group where we decided to have you come on the show and talk about a couple of different things. You have, I believe it's called CIDP, correct?
Yes, CIDP.
And what is that short for?
Chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy.
Okay.
And what it is it's a rare autoimmune disease. It affects your immune system, where your body goes after the myelin sheath or the insulation of your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what has happened to me was my body attacked the layer of nerves. So my arms and my legs, basically my whole body, the nerves don't work right.
So basically, is that from head to toe that the nerves?
No, it's your peripheral nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's everything that goes out, basically from my shoulders down.
Okay.
So nothing in the brain.
Okay. So, but still, basically all motor functions, pretty much.
Sensory and motor.
Okay, I understand. And when were you diagnosed with this?
Well, I was diagnosed in January, but actually had symptoms in sleep. It was numb. And then it went into my left foot, and then my left hand, my right hand. My hands and feet were numb. I went to my doctor, and she diagnosed me with carpal tunnel and plantar fasciitis.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think that was correct because there was no pain involved. But I went with her, suggestion. I did the stretches. I went for acupuncture. I got massage, chiropractic. I did, even adjusted my diet to lower my sugar.
Right.
And after about 3 months, my calves started going numb. So I went back, and then she sent me to the neurologist. And within a week, I was diagnosed. Within 3 weeks, I got my first treatment.
And so you say treatment. What is the treatment that is involved with that?
The most common treatment is called IVIG. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they give you immunoglobulin. And it takes 5 days. You go in 5 different days. And they just load you up. They put it in your veins. And it's from what I was told, it binds with the bad antibodies and flushes it out of your system and gives you good antibodies. Okay. And then most people respond to that.
And so what are these antibodies? So you say antibodies, for the people who don't know, what are they're actually are they attacking are they supposed to be repairing the nerves, or are they?
Once it gets rid of the bad antibodies, then it can lower the inflammation in your body, and then your nerves can heal.
Right. Is that basically what's causing everything? Is just inflammation of everything?
Yeah. The insulation layer of my nerves, like the outer layer,
right?
The myelin.
And so basically it's just, is it numb? Are you in pain now, or?
Normal. And it wasn't until my doctor saw me after the second treatment, we were getting ready for a third, and she saw me, and she's like, "No, you're getting weaker." My face started going numb. So she sent me to the hospital right away. So I went. And then they give you a new protein. I think it's called albumin. And then it basically cleans your blood, kind of like dialysis.
Okay.
So I was in the hospital for 10 days. So they clean my blood. It takes out all the bad stuff, all the bad antibodies.
That's just crazy. I can't imagine. Like, I've been an athlete for a long time. I played for almost 20 years, and I've had like a pinch before where it's that numbness feeling in your foot. But to imagine that just everywhere, it's one of the things where I tried to imagine it, but there's no real way that you can comprehend what it's like. And as always, you were, before you said you were a black belt in
degree black belt.
Do you mind? Can you push that button right there? I can get it for you.
Yeah. Um, you know, I'm an 8th degree professor, 8th degree black belt in Kachikembo martial arts, which is a Hawaiian style martial arts. Um, I'm also an or original b-boy or breakdancer. So I'm active with my crew Spectre. So this
shout out to the Spectre.
I was entering. I'd enter battles. One of the oldest guys, but my kids got me back in 2000. We've been going strong ever since. So
now, for the people who don't know what a b-boy battle is out there, what is a b-boy battle?
Well, if you're familiar with the 80s breakdance, b-boy is the correct terminology, and it's just it's a dance battle.
Yep.
You exchange movement, and just go back and forth, trying to outdo each other with dancing, acrobatics, spins, just things like that.
And did you have a primary move of yours that you were a big fan of back in the day, or did you have a signature move, we could say?
Gosh, back in the day, signature moves. I would say 1990s, which is a handspin from a handstand, windmills to halos.
Oh man.
And
just spinning.
Yeah,
just
spins,
going like
head swipes.
Oh my.
Things like that. Yeah.
Now, do you use when you're doing those kind of things? Do you use any kind of head protective, like a hat with pad on it, or are you just spinning on the dome, just calling it a day?
Well, back in the day, I didn't, but now I do because my hair's thinning.
that could cause maybe a little friction going around like that. Yeah.
So yeah, we wear beanies, head spin beanies.
And so now, head spin beanies. Now, is that a specific type of beanie, or is it?
Yeah. It actually has a special mesh on it that allows you to spin faster. A gentleman, name of Cross One, he actually started that back in the day. I believe it was I think it was his mom would make them for him, and he would bring them to the battles, and then people would buy them. And now, there's a lot of generic ones, but I think his are one of the best. And he actually he's the founder of Freestyle Session, like biggest b-boy battle in the world. It's worldwide.
Where does that take place?
All over the world.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of it started in San Diego, but now it's LA. It goes to LA. It goes back and forth.
So now, obviously, you're not dancing anymore.
Well,
you still got a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I expect a full recovery. So I know I'm going to be dancing again.
Right.
But my role, they still come over. They practice at my house.
Okay.
And then we hang out.
And you live locally, correct?
I live locally here in Escondido. And so we're constantly get together. The most important thing is that we're always spending time together. And they support me as well as my Kachikembo Ohana and my Home Depot family. So as far as my role, they're just there for me.
Right.
They consider me the leader of the crew, but we're just all family.
Now, being the leader of the crew, what does that entail? Do you get everybody together? Do you organize? Is that more of an organizational role, or is that more of a going out and finding like competitions and stuff like that, or finding new dancers, for example?
Well, I'd say leadership role. Originally, it was a leadership role because they were all kids back years ago, but now they're all college students and hardworking adults.
Right.
So they stepped up. They really take on the leadership role. But my leadership role, I just get ideas and then I make suggestions, and then they decide if they want to go with it or not. So it's not like I'm saying do this, do that.
No, yeah.
I just
what if we did this, or what if we did that?
Yeah, I get some ideas and then just put it on the table.
Awesome. Now, are you getting new dancers coming in, or is it pretty much just been the same kind of crew?
It's been the same. We've had people leave, like really good people, and form like different crews. And but we have a good core people that have been with us since 2009.
Oh, wow. Okay. And how many people are in your crew?
Currently active, I'd say we have like 10.
Mhm.
We used to have we were like 25 deep.
Oh, wow.
But-
so you guys got numbers.
Yeah, but a lot of the guys, they split and formed their own thing.
Mhm.
There's a crew, they're called DFC, and all the DFC guys were in my crew, Spectre, but now they're doing their own thing. They want to do their own expression, and they're doing
and that's okay. It's more of like, it's more of like a subsection kind of thing. You're not upset that they're leaving. It's more of like, you go do your thing. I get it.
I'm really proud of those guys. They're doing their own thing, and they stepped it up. But they stayed together, and that, I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
That those guys stay together, and then the guys that are with me, they're a little bit older. It's like the younger guys broke up, but
Right.
they're older.
The OGs, right?
Yeah, I guess you can call some of the guys OGs, but some of the guys, in their 30s,
Mhm.
Mid 20s, so we're more family oriented,
Right.
I guess you could say.
And that's all that really matters. Is it's all about family. It doesn't matter what you do when you really think about it. As long as you're in the type of family type aspect, everybody's going to succeed.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, and I bet you guys all push each other every day. That's the other thing. Yeah. That next move that nobody can do, the next day everyone's, oh, you got it. And it's just that the ability to get people to get excited about something and have them, be able to appreciate that. I coach high school lacrosse right now. I coach down the 56. And, when they get, it's that light bulb idea, when something, clicks in their head and all of a sudden they have that aha moment. It's so cool to see that,
Yeah.
So then, back to so you said you were a professor, correct?
Yes.
And now being a professor in martial arts, can you describe what that is to people? Because I don't think a lot of people know. A lot of people
basically, let me just explain.
Go ahead.
My philosophy on
absolutely
on promotion. Okay, because once you get a black belt and you become a teacher, with the like a sensei would be Japanese. When you start teaching in Kachikembo, you become a sifu, and sifu, it basically just means teacher.
Mhm.
So we're all sifus, we're all teachers, and once you get to the higher levels, to me, the higher level you get, it just means you're getting old.
Mhm. Oh.
That's all it means, honestly. But you get to the higher levels. It's not a matter of how your skill level or how badass you are. It's about what are you doing with the martial arts? What are you doing for the community?
Mhm.
And how are you helping people?
Right.
So as you get to the higher levels, once you get to like professor, because after professor, the next level is grandmaster, which is the highest level. To me, it's like, okay, as a professor, what am I doing? Basically to better the world, to better the martial arts. Not just okay, I can teach this style of martial arts. I know how to do all these weapons. That doesn't matter. What matters is what are you doing with it? Becoming a better human being.
Mhm.
And helping people.
Now, how do you pronounce the martial arts that you perform? I've been trying. I've been looking at them, and they are not too easy words to say.
Yeah, it's Kaju Kembo.
Kaju Kembo, and that's the Hawaiian one.
Yes, if you break it down, Kaju Kembo, Ka stands for karate, which is Tang Sudo.
Mm-hmm.
Ju stands for judo and jujitsu. Ken stands for Kempo, and Bo stands for boxing and Chinese boxing, also known as Kung Fu.
So that's just like just a little bit of everything.
Yes.
So, did you compete?
Oh yeah, I was active. Before this, when my foot was numb, I competed with a numb foot.
Now, is Kaju Kembo a discipline? Is that a specific discipline, or is it more of like for example, jujitsu or taekwondo? Is Kaju Kembo?
Kaju Kembo, the way it starts is all Kaju Kembo schools have a certain foundation,
Mhm.
certain basics. But once you get to a certain level, we encourage you to express yourself. So you might see each school looks a little different. because each instructor is following a different expression. So, for example, one school might focus more on the MMA or more jujitsu combat. Another school might be more into the competition circus or more traditional type stuff. So each one is different, but we all have something in common, all our basics and foundation, and our sense of ohana, or a sense of family. And that's one thing that Kaji Kembo has. I think that a lot of martial arts schools don't have is that sense of family, because they adopt the Hawaiian culture.
Okay.
You know, if you know anything about the Hawaiians, I mean, we're so tight. You know, the family unit.
It's all, yeah, it's all for one for all, and I know that for sure.
And if you've seen that video I posted, my last update on my my YouTube channel is I think it's number 8, where I dedicated to my Kaji Kembo Ohana, because this past weekend they did a surprise degree.
And that happened
this past weekend on Saturday.
Wow. So now I apologize. I posted that you were a 7th degree because I was on your website, and it said
I haven't updated that yet.
So everybody, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday he had just been promoted to 8th degree professor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so so like you said, there's different styles that people, some people focus more towards the MMA, some more towards the competition. Yeah. What was your what were you more interested in?
Me, I was, I kind of all around kind of guy, but my thing is I'm very into the foundation and tradition, I would say, and then self-defense.
Self-defense.
I'd say for me, it'd be more self-defense, because no disrespect to the MMA scene, and people talk a lot, but the MMA scene is missing. It's missing tradition. That's the missing, and the discipline.
Are there a lot of MMA Kaji Kembo fighters?
Oh yeah, they're out there. A lot of guys. There's that one fella, Sage Northcutt.
Okay,
he's Kaji Kembo. Iceman, he's a Hawaiian Kempo.
Liddell?
Yeah.
Okay, Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, Hawaiian Kempo came from Kaji Kembo.
Oh, okay.
They just took around. They basically expressed their style of Kaji Kembo, and they stripped away all the the tradition and the forms, and they went more of the MMA. Right,
more. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say this with disrespect, but taking away the things that they thought were maybe unnecessary to go towards the octagon.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, I could understand how some people would find that as disrespectful, because if you're trying to practice the entire martial art, and you're just going to take out this whole part because it doesn't suit your what you need, I could see that as being almost as disrespectful in some people's eyes.
Yeah, it could be. But it's just like I said, because when we the difference between like when they fight and when we do competition or we're gonna fight, we bow to each other, and then when we're done, we bow and we shake hands. But a lot of times you see people just talking trash to each other and flipping each other off, or even getting mad. When I get the beat down, I don't get mad.
You learn from that.
Yeah, I thank that person, because now I know what I need to work on. So I'm not going to get mad about it. You get mad, that's going to just show your weakness.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've always told people that you need to, especially as a coach, that you need to channel your anger.
Yeah.
You never show it. You got to turn it into you running faster, running harder, turn it into you committing on that next play, or in five, I guess, go back, take that anger, go back into the gym and use that anger to hit the weights harder, hit the bag harder, work your sweeps harder, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So then now, you've been doing you were doing competitions for how many years before this?
Oh shoot. Since 1990. No, wait. I'm sorry, since 1989.
Oh wow, okay.
When I competed.
So when I was born, you were starting to compete.
I started a lot sooner than that. I competed when I was a little kid, back in the 1980s when I started. But 89 is when I really started pushing competition, because when you're a child, you can only do as much as your parents will let you do.
Right.
And as an adult,
sky's the limit.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to competitions, 2 or 3 competitions a month.
How were you doing them? Were you winning? Were you?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when I think I did pretty good. I also do wushu kung fu.
That yeah.
Yeah. But when you go to a competition, you can enter different types of competitions.
Okay.
You go to a competition and you don't have to just do one style. You can say, okay, I want to do hard style, I want to do soft, I want to do weapons, I want to do fighting, I want to do self defense.
And that's how the Kajikimbo tournaments work. So you basically, I want to, it's like stand up Chinese boxing, like an option. So like they have different like floors with different people competing.
So now because
oh man, why is this? What? How did I not know about this? I would be going to these. So you could have a one mat doing judo and another one doing like boxing right next to each other.
Yeah, they just different styles, all under the same competition. They really opened it up because they want to bring in more of the MMA. So you can go and watch these kids doing like the musical competitions where they play music, showmanship, and they're doing synchronized forms. And then over here you can see grappling. Over here you can see the point fighters. There's just a lot going on in these competitions.
Wow, I can't believe that because I was a wrestler when I was younger, and I wrestled at the state level as the highest that I got to. And I used to think that, when you got to see freestyle wrestlers and Greco-Roman wrestlers wrestle next to each other, I was like, well, this is crazy. That's so weird. But the fact that that's like a farmer's market for martial arts.
Well, the cool thing is like when you enter like, let's say the point fighting competition, it's not just point fighting Kajikembo. It's like, okay, you got Taekwondo, Kung Fu, all fighting each other. So you got to compare your style to another style.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
And it's something. So, when was the last? Do you still go to these tournaments to watch? To maybe watch your student? Are they called students?
Yeah.
To watch your students compete?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd love to come to one of those. That'd be awesome.
Well, I'll let you know when the next one is.
Please do.
Yeah.
So then moving on from there, back to and I hate to change subjects here, but you wanted to talk about maybe giving a little more awareness about your CIDP and what people could
before I talk about
please do. Go
CIDP, I also want to point out locally I work at Home Depot in the paint department.
Okay. Anybody wants to come by and say hi to Ronnie?
Yeah.
So it was over there. He'll give you a good mix. I guarantee it.
You guys probably saw me there if you've ever been to the Home Depot. I was there in the morning. But I just want to do a quick shout out because they built me a ramp for my wheelchair and they didn't have to.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they sent people out and they built it for free, out of the kindness of their heart because, they took care of, they were like family there.
Right. And this is the Home Depot on East Valley Parkway. So for those of you listening, this is Escondido, East Valley Parkway, the Home Depot.
Yeah, so,
and I frequent that one a lot, and I'm surprised that I've never seen you there. But I mean, every time I go there, it's 7 people, 8 people.
Yeah.
Need a hand with something? Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? Yeah. Every single time. It's one of the. I feel every time I'm like, it's like my Toys R Us. I'm like, yes, get to go to Home Depot today.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they're gonna do a fundraiser for me as well. We have our own employee type fundraiser thing to help because I've got, because of my condition, I got hospital bills,
right? And
I have insurance, but if anyone knows how the insurance is today, it doesn't pay for really them. It pays for some, but it's like, okay, well, here's your deductible. Well, here's your co-payments.
Right.
So I'm racking up these bills. My in-home home therapy. I get occupational therapy and physical therapy. That's expensive.
Yeah, that is only so much that they're going to cover, even though it should all be covered. But I mean,
and then not to mention my hospital.
And I got the bill. It's like $847 to go like
for a ride,
15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't seem right. Like they're like, hey, you buy the ticket, you take the ride. And I was like, great, thanks guys, appreciate it.
So I'm on a leave of absence and I'm collecting a temporary state disability, and it's helping me kind of stay where I'm afloat with my bills. But now I got these medical expenses, so we're just trying to do these fundraisers. I have a GoFundMe. A friend started up. My friend Adria started a GoFundMe, and I was really surprised because within 2 weeks, I mean, they already generated $3,600.
That's incredible.
Just from, you know,
the kindness of people's hearts.
And it's only been up, I mean, maybe 3 weeks now, and it's just, you know.
Wow. You gotta just love the fact that people are there to help and stuff, you know.
The love and support I'm getting.
And that was kind of that when your coworker tagged you in my post, and then I was able to, you know, look about what you were about, and it's just one of those things where you're like, God, when life just gives you that curveball like that, it's like you're not prepared for those kind of things. You don't know what the next like step is, because it's such a what'd you say the number was of people?
So it's less than 10 per 100,000 people.
So it's like 0.00001%.
That's how rare this is.
And it's like when you get thrown a curveball like that, the fact that people just out of the kindness of their hearts are just able to come out there and support you and help you in any way possible. That's incredible. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to bring you on the show. I wanted to let you like I've told people before, if you've been listening to the couple episodes, I'm trying to give people a platform to voice something. And sometimes people don't have the ability to, you know, to start a podcast or to go to a radio station or to even like computer and stuff like that, you know, like for example, you have a hard time, like, you know, like even standing up and using a computer, the ability to have somebody else come to you and be like, hey, let's talk and be able to push this out to as many people as possible. Really is something that I really wanted to do for everybody. It's just, like I've said before, I'm not in this to make any money, to get any fame, notoriety. This is a hobby of mine. I like talking to people. I think people are awesome. I love their stories. I love listening. And I want a way to just be able to do that, but also have other people, you know, listen in too. And if they find something informative, you know, then they have an outlet to come in to have the ability to do it. But then moving on from this, the next thing I want to talk about is you're just going to swing back in. Are you back into the fighting part? I just wanted to make sure we got that there for you. So are you an MMA fan? Do you follow mixed martial arts at all? The UFC, anything like that? No. Do you follow the competition scene at all or anything like that?
Yeah. You know, like I told you, I'm more traditional, discipline, self-defense. So, you know, I think it's cool, but like I don't know all the fighters. I don't get excited.
Right.
You know, you can ask me about someone. To be honest, I couldn't tell you, because there's, you know, some people are fans,
right,
and they follow, and then some people actually do martial arts.
Correct. Yeah.
I do martial arts. That's what I do.
So then, so let me see here. How long have you been a professor for?
Professor since Saturday.
Oh, that you've just officially became.
I just officially became professor on Saturday.
Oh, so what was the title you had before?
Oh, my title was. Like grandfather or uncle, and you know, so they use these family terms,
right?
You know, and then the professor, and then the highest level would be grandmaster.
Okay. Have you ever been out to Hawaii to train or anything like that?
No, you know, not yet. I'm gonna make it out there. My mom's from Hawaii, but Are you from the area? I was born and raised in San Diego.
Okay, cool, awesome. So then, so are you currently teaching students right now?
Yeah, my class is at the Rancho Bernardo Rec Center.
Okay.
And my black belt students are teaching for me, but I'll still show up and I teach straight from the wheelchair.
That's got to be. I mean, if I was there and I saw this guy, like, oh, here's the deal. Like, this guy probably knows exactly what he's talking about. If they're gonna have him come in a wheelchair and be like, here's the deal, listen to this guy because he knows what he's talking about. And so, do you primarily teach self-defense? Do you teach competitive fighting? Is there a certain thing that you prefer to teach to your students more than anything else?
For me, I love teaching just foundation and basics.
So when you say foundation and basics, what do you mean by that?
Like the you know, you really need to start from the bottom up, and stances, punches, just the proper way to do it, because anybody can teach someone how to punch, but not everyone can teach someone how to punch correctly.
Right.
So I'm more into, okay, I want to make sure your stances are correct. You have strong stances, strong punches, your hand is in the correct position, just things like that. Because once you have a good foundation, then everything else comes easy.
Right.
Everything else will come easy.
So then so let's say, so I'm an athlete, but have have zero experience in martial arts. Yeah. Like, how long does it normally take you to take somebody? It's a white belt, right? Yeah. When you to go from like a white belt to their next belt.
About 3 months, you can get a yellow belt.
Yeah. And through those 3 months, it's all, like you said, just foundation, and then just building on that. Yeah. And so then, do you from there, once you have somebody who's built a very sound foundation, what would your next step be with them in their training?
It'd be up to the individual. Like I said, unlike other martial arts, let's say, for example, Taekwondo, you have to do it to their program. You conform to their martial arts. With us, you get to a certain point where I'm going to conform this martial arts to you.
See, and that's where I'm having a bit of that's so foreign to me, because when I think martial art, you think of one discipline, and you stick to that discipline. Whereas this scene sounds more like, okay, if you feel stronger on your feet, standing up with somebody than as opposed to being on your back, we're going to work on that. Yes. Which almost to me seems a little counterintuitive, though. If you were really uncomfortable being on your back, wouldn't you try to preach to them you should probably be doing more groundwork than staying on your feet, so that when it gets to that situation, you don't feel so uncomfortable?
Well, let's say, for example, you're a great kicker. Let's say you had some kicking experience, Taekwondo or whatever, and you joined my school, and I give you the foundation. I definitely would capitalize on your strength, definitely. And then you would get to that point where, okay, well, I'm weaker on my back, and we would focus on that. But I think it'd be more important to take that away from you. But if I was, let's say, Kung Fu, and I was great with my hands, so going Taekwondo, my Kung Fu doesn't mean nothing. They would throw that out the window. But you come to me, whatever you have, I'm going to let you keep that. I want to strengthen that, give you my foundation, and then, okay, now what else you want to work on? Because chances are you're gonna see just how awesome everything else is, and say, you know what, I want to learn that. I want to learn a weapon. Because some schools don't even teach the weapons, like the bow staff or the 3-section staff, whip chain, weapons that I teach.
Oh, man. You teach all of those?
Yeah, I teach those. Spear, just those weapons. Once you get to a certain level, it becomes more of an art form, because a lot of people come there and say, I just want to learn how to fight.
Right.
And by the time they leave, especially when they get their black belt, there's so much they want to do,
Well, I can only imagine as you ascend through the ranks, I can only imagine that opens more corridors to, like you said. Now I'm starting to understand the building of the foundation. It's going to open different pathways to everything that you want to go to. But if you don't have that base, like you're saying, you're going to probably fall off the path. I'll just
give you an example. Let's talk about MMA. Sometimes you watch an MMA fight and you watch these guys get up there and they try to box. Yeah. And then, pardon my language, but they look like shit.
It's okay. You can use language. It's all good.
They're trying to be a professional boxer, and they've only been boxing for maybe a year.
Right.
Okay. They don't have the foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they're trying to do something and be something they're not. It's like, why are you going to go out there and try to prove that you can box when against a professional boxer? When you're a better kicker. And that's one of the things with the MMA I'm watching. I'm going, why am I watching these guys who don't know how to box?
Throwing flounder hands and stuff.
Yeah. And so it goes to show you have to work on your foundation. No matter what it is, whatever it is you're going to do, whether it's grappling or kicking, or you have to have some sort of foundation in something. And they try to go and get a boxing coach and get a kickboxing coach and get a jiu-jitsu coach. Coach, the word coach. Coach doesn't mean that you're a black belt instructor.
No.
It just means you're a coach.
Sounds like they need a Kajikimbo instructor is what they need.
Maybe. But they get out there and then they look like shit. And I can watch these guys and tell just how much experience they got by the way they punch and they're kicking.
I do notice that too when I see that, you know, just especially when you see somebody throw a leg kick.
Yes.
When you see somebody who's experienced throwing a leg kick as opposed to somebody who just started throwing leg kicks, it's like the guy who's experienced is trying to kick through your leg into the fence, or the other guys.
A lot of the traditional guys that turn MMA, you know, look awesome because they had that foundation.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to keep saying Sage Northcutt, but
when he
first came on the scene, his foundation alone, you know, and he came from the tournament circuit scene. He did it all from the ground up, and now he's doing MMA. And you know, I'm not sure how he's doing now, but when he fights, he looks pretty good.
He's still a name, I know that. So as soon as you said it, I knew it. And I'm a big boxing fan.
I lit up when I saw him. I was like, whoa, wow, look, this guy. He came from, you know, traditional martial arts, and you know, when I heard Coach Kembo, I'm like, oh, cool. And then you can go on YouTube and watch him doing all his forums and competitions.
But you do notice those people who come from that, who have that foundation. Another name that comes to my mind is Lyoto Machida, who had that karate background, and he just. When it comes down to the foundation, it becomes more scientific than it does anything else, because now at this point it's just your angles and being able to just move. Barely, I think what I'm trying to say is efficiency. The least amount of movement you can do to get the biggest result.
Oh, we do different types of training. You know, like if you watch the coaches, they do pad work and they do drills, but they don't do the same training that we do.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of training that you can actually use from a lot of the traditional schools that can translate into the MMA or give them an edge that those guys don't have. Anything
in specific you might give an example to?
Just our timing drills are different.
Right.
Even like when we do kata, because a lot of schools don't do kata.
Kata is?
It's forms like synchronized movements.
Okay.
When you do that, you're working on your timing. You're working on your form, your stances, and everything has to be precise.
Because it's got to be mirrored, right?
Yeah, it has to be precise. And I know some schools don't believe in kata, but you know, all your basics and foundation come from kata. A lot of schools won't even let you start sparring until you have your first or second kata, and it's got to be exact.
And so, is that normally done with one other person? Is that or is it more of or something that you, or like a routine that you have to learn?
You learn a routine and you practice it, and you figure, okay, I'll just give you an example. There's a competition form that I do. It's called Shito. And I've been doing that Shito form.
And Shito is, I'm for everybody who's listening.
That's the name of the form.
Okay.
And it means rock or like hard.
Okay, cool.
So that form Shito, and what that competition form is, it's a combination of different forms within our style that was combined specifically for competition. Now, I've been doing that form since 1989. And think about it, all those years doing that same movement, how precise, or how, you know what I mean?
Right. It's just scientific. It's just
yeah. And then you translate that into my foundation or my basics. Now, when I fight, or if I have to defend myself, the moves,
they're second hand. They're second nature.
I figure over 20 years of doing the same thing. And when I do it, it's a type of meditation also, you know? So I'm just trying to get my spirit, mind, and body.
I completely get that, because you've done it so many times now. It's become such a motion that you can let your mind, meditate while you're doing the motion, because you've done it for 20 plus years, and it's just become part of your movement, basically.
Yeah.
Now, did you start dancing, b-boying, or martial arts first?
Martial arts first. It's the 1980s when I officially started martial arts with Grandmaster Alan Abad. I started popping and breakdancing. It's kind of complicated because popping was on the West Coast,
right,
and b-boying was on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's I remember. Yeah. I remember reading popping, stuff about that.
I used to watch my brothers pop, so I was popping first, but breaking I started in 1982.
Okay.
Is when I started. So I started breaking afterwards, but I think the martial arts helped with the breakdance.
That was going to be my follow. Did you see any, correlation between the moves. Like, oh, I could probably use this.
Oh yeah.
To be like,
I watch a lot of the original B-boys, and they took a lot of their moves from watching the kung fu movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of inspiration from those kind of movies? Did
Black belt theater stuff.
Mhm.
They're flying in the air.
I was a big Legend of the Drunken Master guy.
Yeah.
You get a drunken boxing thing.
I think that one of my favorite films was the Master Killer.
Oh yeah.
The 36 Chambers.
That was a great movie. Great enough movie. They made a great ass album after it too. The Wu-Tang right there.
Yep.
Oh man, I think I still have that on my computer right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, that's what I was trying to think. Is as I'm thinking, it was like, well, it's because you're talking about the dancing, the rhythmic of the fighting, of the moves that you use in the routine, and I can easily see how that would translate into, a more, because not all your friends are out there doing martial arts with you, doing Kajikimbo, but I bet you a lot of them are out there popping and b-boying and stuff like that. So it comes down to, oh, okay, well, guys, what if we did a little bit of this? And they're like, oh, okay, I see what you're talking about there.
And I look at it all the time and just incorporate it. Why not? Why not incorporate it? It's my expression of the dance, So, one thing that I think today the b-boys, they're starting to look the same because they're taking all the moves or biting each other's moves, but they're not trying to come out with original moves. It's like you're going to take something
like those Les twins, right? Those guys, the two French brothers. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
That I started watching them like 9 years ago, and it feels like they're still doing the same moves.
Yeah, yeah. But eventually you got to make something your own. You can't just copy somebody and say, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I've seen literally people doing the exact same sets, like just stealing the same combinations, and they win competitions. You're like, wow, really? That's not even original.
That's not even fair. Yeah. That's like a stand-up comedian taking somebody else's stand-up and using it and getting 1 million laughs, and the other guy didn't get any laughs. You're like, what? No. Or they both got laughs, and you're just stealing their material. Yeah, I think, like you said, when it comes to expression, especially when we do you do a lot of b-boy? Were you doing b-boy competitions?
Oh yeah.
And so when did you start competing as a b-boy?
Well, in the 80s it was different. We didn't have the big competitions like
they do now. Like Red Bull sponsoring it and stuff.
Exactly. Because back in the day, you would go. I'll just give you an example. We used to go to Prospect Avenue in La Jolla and put out a hat and perform and get money.
Right.
Well, other crews got the same idea, so 2 or 3 crews would show up, and when they show up, well, now we can battle, and that's how we would battle each other and it wasn't a quick 2 or 3 rounds. I mean, we'd go at it for an hour, sometimes hours, 1-2 hours.
Right.
Just going over everything.
So I see the cardboard on the ground right now too. I just see the cardboard on the ground, the ghetto blaster just turned up with all the knobs turned up.
Yeah.
Oh man. So then did you continue to compete as when it got more popular?
Well, like in the 80s, it had a big explosion in 83, and then officially like 86, it just died.
fell off.
It just fell off. But I continued dancing until 1988, and then once that happened, I stopped practicing in 88, and then I just kind of danced, at parties, just for fun. And it wasn't until early 2000s when I started coming back. I started popping under the name Ron Zone, and then
Ron Zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't tell anyone who I was because I was considered.
Did you have a different name back in the 80s?
Yeah, back in the 80s they called me Kibi.
Kibi.
K-I-B.
Very cool. Yeah, keeping it alive. I like it.
And then I came out with Ron Zone because Ron Zone, it was a nickname that I got from martial arts because my teacher used to tell me, Ronnie, you're in the zone. So I was like, okay, Ronnie in the zone. And then my wife, she's Italian. She called me Ron Zoni. Okay, Ron Zone sounds cool. So I
put those two together.
I chose that to kind of pay homage to the 80s.
Right.
Ron Zone, it sounds
definitely has that 80s vibe.
And so, I wanted to earn my place. I didn't want to just come out and say, hey, I'm an OG from the 80s. Show me some respect.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wanted to get my respect, so I entered the battles. And then later on in 2009, when my kids officially really wanted to learn and we brought back Spectre Crew, they remembered the name Ron Zone. And then they said, why didn't you tell us you were OG? You know?
Because you wanted to prove.
Yeah. And then I took it to the next level, and I started entering the competitions because they started calling me and the other OGs. They're like, oh, these guys are coaches. I'm like, I'm not a coach. I'm a B-boy. You know? So I started entering the battles with the kids, and I've been doing it ever since.
And so are the battles different now than they were in the 80s?
Yeah. Because now, let's say you enter a battle, you do what they call preliminary rounds.
Oh, so this isn't just on the corner anymore. No, this is organized.
Yeah. Like you know how you do wrestling brackets?
Right.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. You got brackets.
Okay.
So they do the prelims. Everyone goes out and does their rounds. You do one round each. And then the judges pick, like, out of, let's say there's 60 B-boys. They'll pick the top 16.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And then they all compete again.
They do the brackets and they do eliminations.
Have you ever judged before?
Oh yeah.
What? Perfect. Awesome. Now I'm excited. So, as a B-boy judge, what are you looking for personally as a judge? Like, what makes one person stand out more than the other person?
You know, the first thing that I'm looking at, because with my martial arts, I'm a foundation guy.
I knew I should have just started with. I knew you were going to say that. Awesome. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the whole package.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just let me give you a breakdown.
Please do.
What a breaking set looks like. So when a guy comes out, this is how it should be. They come out, the music's playing. They start off with top rock. So they're standing up and they're dancing.
Mm-hmm. And
then they go to the floor and they do footwork or floor work. Okay. So they do that. Then they would incorporate some sort of power move, like a windmill or a head spin.
So something. For people who don't know what a power move is, that's where you're moving, like where you're actually rotating your entire body around.
Something acrobatic, a big move.
Mm-hmm.
That takes strength. That's why it's called power.
Right.
And then from there, maybe some more footwork, and then finish with a freeze or some sort of expression.
Okay.
Like a stance or a freeze, and they should have some sort of finesse. Some sort of style, like kind of like like I hate to use that word swag,
right?
But you gotta.
But that they need. How about like more of like a pizzazz? They need something about them that like
or
that stand like a standout effect about them. They
so that's,
light on their toes, maybe if they have to look like they're walking on air.
That's the whole package deal. But sometimes they go out and they go straight for the power move, and then they come up, and you're like, wait a minute, what happened to the dance?
Yeah. So it's there's a science, like you said, like a routine to it. Just like when it comes back to the martial arts, you need to start one way and then transition to it and then move back into it.
And then there's other things. If you fall down, well, then you just crashed.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
How many times have you seen that happen?
So yeah, it's got to be perfect. Hand slip, and because my years of training with martial arts and also the b-boying, I know when someone makes a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
They could try to fake it, but I'll catch it right away.
Right.
That's the first thing I notice if they crashed or not, and that counts against you big time.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. If you crash, it's like you shouldn't have even done that.
Right. What were you in a competition? That's something that you should have still been practicing, kind of thing.
Exactly. And then originality. I want to see, because I can tell if they bit a whole set or if they took something and they made it their own.
Right. Yeah, so you don't have a problem with somebody tweaking something that somebody else does, but if they just blatantly just do the same set as somebody else, then you're just like, all right, hold on, time out.
And that's what I'm seeing nowadays is everyone's just doing that. They look the same now.
That's YouTube. That's all YouTube's fault.
It is YouTube B-boys.
It's everybody, because everybody looks at the same 3 videos. They type in how to B-boy, and it's same 3 videos that come up that now have probably 500 million views. So everyone's like, oh, I'm going to click on that one because everybody else did. Yeah. And now everybody's getting the same style. Back in the day before, like the internet, it was you and your friends. You're like, hey, what do you think about this? Does this look good? And your friends are like, no, you look like an idiot. Don't do that. Or you'd be like, what if I did this? They're like, okay, now that looks cool. Let's do that. You don't really see that as much anymore because everybody can just go on their phone or go on their computer and click a button. And all of a sudden they've got 10 million people that they can look at to take. And now, like I said before, if you're doing that simply to find like inspiration, then I don't think there's a big issue with that. But if you're just going out there, have you ever, like, for example, have you ever seen somebody do a set and then somebody come out and basically do the exact same set right behind them?
Not right after another.
Or like,
yeah, I've seen it done at like one battle, then you see another battle, the guy did the same thing.
Or one guy advances and then just does the same thing in the next round. You're like, you gotta change it up, man.
Well, what amazes me sometimes
this isn't the X Games
is when the B-boys, because every time you come out, you should be doing something different,
right?
But some guys do the same thing, or we call it repeat, and these guys are winning and they repeat themselves. Like I've said, wait a minute, they did that like 10 times during the competition. How did they win?
Yeah. So there's just a lack of originality there that really becomes an issue. So then besides that, so what these competitions that you go to, how many people are normally at one of these competitions? Because I'm assuming there's a lot of fans as well as the.
Well, it depends, because we have local competitions, and
So let's start with the local ones.
Okay, the local ones. You can maybe have like, I'd say a small competition would be like 30 people.
Okay.
And then medium size would be like 70 people, and then the big ones would be over 100.
Now, are these when these competitions begin? Do you have to like enter? Do you have to like pay a fee to like enter these competitions?
The way they do it is they'll charge at the door, and then so everyone just pays a price to get in.
Like an admission, right?
Admission. Then you want to battle, you just sign up.
Oh, okay. So regardless if you even if you just want to go watch, you still gotta just to help generate. Yeah. And then so does that money just go? Does that go to the winner? Does that go to? Does it get divvied up, or does it just help supply for the venue?
Some of the cash goes for the cash prize, but you figure you got to pay the DJ needs to get paid.
Right.
To me, that's the most important thing.
Right.
The DJ needs to be taken care of, and then you've got
without him, you guys are kind of screwed.
And you got the judges, but then you all have the venue you have to pay for.
So the judges get paid.
Yes.
And
let me just clarify. Most judges get paid. And obviously,
it's rude to say no.
Yeah, but most of the time I judge for free.
Okay. Now
I want to give back to the community.
Yeah. And so as a judge, is it just score based, or do you actually go up to them after and be like, hey, you did this, you did that, you should probably, or is it?
It's, well, the top to pick the top 16, the way I do it, I use a point system. After that, it's just a matter of pointing to which who you thought won. I'll take notes during the battle. If they crash, a notation.
Right.
If I like something, I'll do a notation.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at my notes. Just so I.
Well, it's such an athletic thing to do.
Yeah.
Like if anybody's listening, just jump up and down for 5 minutes right now and see how you feel after doing that. Now times that by about 10. And then do some push-ups and everything else, because it's constant motion. You don't for 4 minutes.
It's fast twitch muscles, constant. And my son, B-boy Kibi, he
Shout out.
told me, he said, Dad, 30 seconds of braking is harder than running a mile.
Oh, I could easily imagine that. That's like the first time I ever started training in boxing. I was just hitting the bag. Hitting the bag, and they're like, just don't stop. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I think my arms are gonna fall off.
Yeah, because you're not doing the endurance and pacing yourself. You're going full out.
Yeah.
It's hard for a long time. And some of these B-boys do 1 minute to 2 minute sets.
Oh man.
Nonstop. Now, imagine running as fast as you can, as hard as you can.
2 minutes straight.
2 minutes.
But it's more than running.
Yeah.
Because it's like running and then doing a front flip while you're running as fast as you can, and then like sliding under something, and then like there's so much more than just that. Like it's one of those things where it's not really, you can't really comprehend it until
the training that's involved is just these B-boys. It's the good B-boys. They train like warriors.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. That was the next question, because like I said, you have to be in really good shape. What type of training do these people do? Because they have that like ninja warrior, like cyclist, marathon runner body. Which, if you've ever looked at a marathon runner up close, they're not tiny people. Their legs are the size of shoe boxes.
Yeah. I once asked he's one of the best local B-boys, B-boy Lancer. I asked him about his training. I said, hey, do you do any like weightlifting or extra types of workout, to help with your braking? And he told me no. All his exercise, all his workout comes from braking.
Just from
training his
which
braking.
would make sense though, because unless you really broke it down to like the scientific aspect, you're only going to be able to engage those muscles if you're doing the actual motions and things like that.
So they do drills as well. A lot of times they'll do like a combination and they drill it.
Yeah. Just get it down, get it into your head.
Yeah. And they just keep doing it. And, you figure if you're going to do, let's say, backflips, okay. You're going to practice that over and over and over and over until you get that muscle memory.
Right.
They do the same thing because a lot of the moves is just pure strength. I mean, they're vertical.
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen that move where they do air flares.
Oh yeah, where they're.
Yeah, I mean, they drill it.
I mean, their feet at the tip when like they're in the full flare. You got to put. I'm putting that at 15 feet in there. Like they are up there.
Yeah, and it looks like they defy gravity.
And it's weird because I've seen gymnasts do it, but I know that they have like the padded. Yeah, blow up my knee.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's incredible. So then moving on to the bigger venues, how do those work? Like, have you ever been to like a large scale competition?
I went to freestyle session just this last year, and it was huge. It was in LA at a nightclub, and it was just, it was just huge. You had my crew entered, and they had I think at least 5 rings for the prelims. They had 5 rings. Each one had 3 judges.
Now, what's a local venue have? Just one ring?
Yeah, just one.
So, and this one had 5 with 3. 5, so for 3 judges per ring.
Yeah. They had these rings all over the place, and the judges were there, and they did the prelims like that. But after they picked the top 16, then they did it in the main ring, and then they just did it right in the middle,
right?
And they did eliminations.
How many people are at that kind of venue?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. You have to ask Cross One. Hundreds.
Oh my goodness!
And on top of that, they did a popping in a separate room, so they had a separate popping event going on at the same time, so you can watch the b-boys, or if you want like the funk music, the popping, you go in the other room.
Oh, that's awesome!
And that was more like a party. Because the b-boy competitions, is kind of reminds me of fighting,
right?
And then you go popping, it's all funk style.
It's all just smooth, yeah.
It's like you're at a nightclub, and they're just,
everybody's like, "Oh, you got that move? Oh, I got this one right here."
So you had the 2 things going on at the same time, and just you go back and forth. They had the Monster sponsored it. They had the monster booths, and they were giving out free monsters all day.
Oh, just keeping everybody up.
10 monsters.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Oh man, I could only imagine you were just on one then, probably.
Yeah, but it was huge. Cross One knows how to throw a jam, that's for sure.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, we're about to be wrapping this up right here. Is there anything else that you'd like to let everybody know before we say goodbye?
Yeah, just
go ahead.
Give you my attitude.
Absolutely, please do.
Because I know
take all the time you need to. No rush.
People, I went from walking to a wheelchair in a month, so I've been in this wheelchair at least 2 months, maybe a little bit longer, and I had ups and downs, but I'm keeping this positive attitude. And I keep saying, as far as I'm concerned, I'm already walking. Okay, there is no doubt in my mind that I will have a full.
It's not if, it's when.
Yes, and I don't want other people who have this condition to get discouraged, because that's what's going to be your downfall. I am in control of my situation. This situation is not going to control me. And if you're watching this or you're listening and you have CIDP or anything related, just don't give up hope. You just got to keep pushing and keep fighting. Like I told my coach Ken Ohana this past weekend, we cry together and we fight together, because I know it's not just me. Everyone that supports me is going through this. They're here with me along for the ride, and it is hard for me, because it breaks my heart when I see the look on their face, because they don't want to see me in this situation,
right?
And it makes me want to fight even harder, because I want them to see, you know, the way they think I should be.
Absolutely.
I want them to see my strength and really just, you know, this is my story. That's why I made those videos, because I don't want you to, I don't want to talk about the situation after I'm better. I want you to be with me step by step and these videos, and I will tell you, hey, I have CIDP, and look what I'm doing.
Yep. It's already the fact that you're on here is an inspiration, and that you have the ability to have such a positive outlook is incredible. And that alone, I think, is going to help you a ton.
And you know, I haven't even talked about my symptoms. If I could just,
oh, please go ahead.
Quick, just tell you.
No, take all the time that you need.
So I went from being very athletic, you know, martial arts, breaking, working in the paint department at Home Depot, lugging them 5-gallon buckets of paint. You know, I used to lift those suckers. It was a workout for me.
Right.
Great. To, okay, I'm in a wheelchair. But what does that mean? What does that mean that I'm in a wheelchair? Well, let me just tell you how it started from the bottom up, because my hands and feet were numb. Then my calves went numb. And then from the waist down, I went numb. I couldn't walk. And then I started losing my strength in my hands and my arms. And then my hands don't work. I don't know if you can tell, they look a lot better, but my hands used to be like this.
Oh, man.
They were curled up. And then I still don't have coordination in my hands. My hands feel like they're someone else's hands. I got muscle spasms and tensions all throughout my body. I couldn't feed myself. I said, now I'm feeding myself, but up until a week and a half ago, I couldn't feed myself. I can't go to the bathroom without help. I can't do anything without assistance, basically. So I can't even take a shower on my own, you know. So I mean, that's what I mean when I'm in a wheelchair. You know, basically, I don't know. I don't want to use the word helpless, but one of the hardest things that I had to do is accept help, because before.
Would you maybe say incapacitated?
Yeah. Because before, when I was going from walking, the transition from walking to wheelchair, I went walking, cane, walker to wheelchair. You know, I because I consider myself a very strong individual. You know, I didn't want the help, so I used that cane, and then I kept falling off the cane. It slipped, bang! My wife would hear me in the bathroom. She'd run in, "What's wrong?" And I'm on the ground and I could barely get up. So I transitioned to a walker, and then I'd use a walker, and then I couldn't move my legs. So then I was in the wheelchair, and then I lost the use of my hands, and that made it even worse. And then my muscle spasms started pushing on my diaphragm, and then it affected my voice.
Oh, man.
And my tongue's numb, my throat's partially numb. I don't have problems swallowing, but every once in a while, you know, I'll drink water and it gets kind of stuck in the wrong hole.
Yeah.
And I'll cough a little. My face is numb. So I can feel my face, just this tightness all around my forehead, my eyes, my lips. So, you know, that's what I'm feeling. But every day, you know, I notice something a little different, just something small, a little change. And to me, those little small changes it's progress. It's like, you know, I don't look at, oh, darn it, I have these muscle spasms again.
Now, is it physical therapy that's helping you the most? Is it the treatment? What is it that is going?
I think a combination. So what I'm doing, okay, conventionally with the hospital, with Kaiser, my second treatment was plasmapheresis, because the IVIG didn't work. And then now I'm on prednisone. I'm taking daily prednisone.
Right. Yeah.
And that's going to be short term. And then they're going to put me on immunosuppressants. I'm doing occupational therapy. My therapist, Dean, freaking awesome.
Shout out to Dean.
Shout out to Dean. My physical therapist. In my diet, I'm leaning more towards a vegan diet, but you know, I like my meats,
right? So
I'm transitioning. She's more vegetables,
almost like a paleo kind of diet.
Yeah, exactly. Cut out my carbs, and I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost over 30 pounds since this condition, and I'm not even physically active right now, just because I adjusted my diet.
And that was fat that you lost, not muscle or anything. Yeah. Okay.
I lost. Anyone, if you look at old pictures or videos, or anyone that knows me,
some of your original videos, You're a little larger.
I
Yeah.
got a little bit of weight on me, but I lost weight because of my dieting to be healthy. I figured the lighter I am, the healthier I am, the easier it will be to walk.
Right.
Um, I do Tai Chi in a chair called Chair Chi with Pat Griffith. So he comes over at least once or twice a week, and we do Tai Chi right here in this wheelchair. So I'm keeping that going. I have a friend, Gerda Machete, who's a Reiki master.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's energy work. She works on me, and she toned me. I'm level 1 Reiki, but she comes over and she does Reiki on me. And then just yesterday, I hooked up. I got to tell this story.
Oh, please. Absolutely.
A high school friend, someone I graduated with in high school, hit me up randomly on Facebook because he saw one of my videos, and he said, "Hey, I know a guy I think can help you. He does body work, and I'd like to send him to you." So I said, "Okay." So a couple weeks later, he calls me. He said, "I'm going to send the guy over. I'll give you your number." He does Hawaiian power flow.
Now, what is that?
Oh, you got the card, Ray? Let me get the business card. So I want to get his name.
Oh, absolutely. And what is power flow? What we're doing?
Well, it's an original healing. This gentleman here, if you give me the card here, if you want to read his name for me.
Yeah, absolutely. His name is Ray Akoni Apana.
There you go, Akoni Apana. So this gentleman referred to me as Hawaiian Power Flow, and so he told me about this guy, and he's known this guy for 18 years, and he said he's helped me through a lot of healing, because this guy did bicycle messaging, and he would get in accidents, and so he would heal his body. So he said he's going to send it me, and I recognized the name, and it turns out, coincidentally, back in 1999 at a karate tournament, I had my nose broke, and that gentleman there worked on me.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah. The blood wouldn't stop bleeding, and he just did like this quick pressure point thing underneath my chin, stop the bleeding, and I continued my fight.
No way.
Yeah. So he shows up to my house, and I know this guy from way back when.
I'm like, hold on a second here.
And he says to me, "You know what? It was destiny that I was sent to you," and he says, "I'm going to heal you." So yesterday he worked on me, and he basically says the doctors don't know what they're talking about, and he did this. I can't explain the work. I guess I can compare it to like pressure point type stuff, massage, all kinds of like just different things.
Oh no, yeah, I know. So like it's almost like acupuncture without the needles, like where they're triggering certain points on your body that react other things.
He believes in the circulation and blood flow, because when he was in the Navy, he was a mechanic, and he would fix engines that they said couldn't be fixed.
Right.
So he applied that mentality to the human body, and he's a kahuna, so he comes from a line of healers, and he discovered that he had a talent for healing. So this is could help you out, and he worked on me in just one day. I noticed even in my hands feel different, just different things. So
let me ask you a question here. So before Akoni, what did you think was the most effective thing that was helping you? Because then I think I'm gonna ask after. What do you think?
Not to sound I don't know how it's gonna sound, but I think it's just my attitude.
Right. It's just that positive vibes.
Positive attitude is the most important thing. And if you know anything, they say, what's it? Mind over body.
Mind over matter. Yeah.
That's it. And there's a lot of programs out there. If you can watch The Secret or this other one, I can't remember the name. My mom referred.
Oh, they don't know. They can't.
There's a lot to go with your mind.
Well, the doctors sometimes don't know anything. Like when a mother, they have stories of mothers flipping over cars to save their children and stuff. It's like you said, it's completely mind over matter. And or people who were given, like a week to live because they found some sort of cancer. Like, no, I'm not dying. What are you talking about? And then I got a friend of mine who was just on the podcast. It was his cousin, said he had a week to live, and this was 4 years ago.
And then like I was talking about my support system, I've got friends. My friend Donald Edkilon, he prays over me a lot. I've got friends that are the Christian church. They made me this prayer quilt. I don't even know these people, and they're praying for me. I've and just and then I've got other friends that are Buddhists, and they're chanting for me.
You just got all the positive energy. That's what's going on here. Yeah,
it's just all that positive energy coming, and I know it's a matter of it's just going to be when, not if.
And you know what? You do have you have a very, very positive outflow towards this. I mean, that you want to come on the show, you want to talk about it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're talking about b-boy, martial art, these things, a lot of other people that I'm thinking is if, that would be really hard for them to be talking about those kind of things when they're wheelchair bound. And you're just, oh man, we did it. And it was awesome. And because it's not if, it's when.
Yeah. My wife tells me it's temporary.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times she won't let me cry.
So then, there you go. Yeah, shout out to the wife there, keeping you strong. So then now, after Mr. Oconee, I apologize, came in, have you seen a substantial change since then as well?
Just
in that one day from yesterday.
One day, I noticed that my hands feel way better, and this is gonna sound funny.
Go ahead.
I had one of the biggest bowel movements I've had since I got this. I know it's pretty funny, but it was just this morning.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, I was just like, what? My wife was just like, you plugged up the toilet.
You're like, you bet your ass I did.
So, it's just, I'm looking at everything that I see positive. That I see positive. Little things I see positive.
That's awesome, man. So then you're going to keep seeing him more.
Oh yeah, I'm going to talk to him about it, and it's not that he came over and he's going to do this massage technique. No. He taught me what to do.
Oh, okay.
He actually showed me, hey, do this, do that, do this. So there's things that I can do at home on my own, and he showed my brother, hey, do this and that. So that's the way he does it. He doesn't just treat you, but he's going to show you how to treat, take care of yourself.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, my friend? Please, if you have it. But I mean, this is great. Like I said, I'm going to get to an hour. Everything after, I'm loving it.
Just that's it. A positive attitude. I'll just give you an example.
Glad to have you here too, man. Thanks for having me out here.
I usually spend at least an hour doing karaoke on my phone.
Glad to have you here too, man. Thanks for having me out here.
My diaphragm
helps with the.
Yeah, it helps with my
well, hold on. I like singing karaoke, so that's my thing. My go-to song every time. I Will Survive. Right. Every single time. Can't go along with a little Gloria Gaynor.
I'll have to look that one up.
Oh, it's a good one.
Try that one. So I'll do that for at least an hour, maybe 2 hours, just to kind of get the lungs going. And then if I have physical therapy, they come over. If they're not over, then I do my own workout. I do shoulders, I stretch out my shoulders, whatever I can do. The leg exercises.
Is it a lot of band work, or is it more just stretching?
We just started doing the band work. They got me standing up, which is great. I love standing up and just holding it.
Yeah.
So like 15
just like
seconds,
boom,
and then sit down. Rest, stand up, hold it.
That's like deadlifts pretty much for your body. That's going to be the best thing you can do.
So doing that, and then I'll have my brother take me outside, and I'll go in my backyard, and I have chickens, and my favorite thing is to sit out in the backyard and just watch my chickens.
Oh, chickens are awesome,
get
man.
The sun and get the vitamin D. I think that's important.
Do you know chickens can swim?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, they can swim.
Okay.
Saw a video on YouTube the other day of this guy when he has pet chickens. They just plopped it right in the pool, and it was just
nice.
It was just cruising along. I was like, I did not know that.
Yeah. So I just love my chickens, and I get fresh eggs every day, which is great.
That's gonna help you a lot too with the protein and stuff.
Yeah. So I'll sit there in the sun. It's important. At least a couple hours get the sun to get that vitamin D. That's why you can see I got a nice color.
You have a very nice color.
Now I don't even turn on the TV.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
Yeah. And then I'll do my social media, and I'll call people during the day. Then depending on what day it is, Pat will come over do Tai Chi. Gerda will come over do the Reiki. And I got people coming over every day. I got different people visiting me. So it's not like I'm just sitting at home.
No, yeah, absolutely not. Now, with your diet now. So you said so I said it was a bit of a paleo diet. You said it was more of a vegan diet. Are you still eating meat?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's like my goal is like I'm looking at vegan, but I can't just go vegan.
No.
You know what I mean?
And you can put your body into shock doing that too.
Yeah. So
That's the bigger
I'm
concern.
looking at transition, but because I love my fresh eggs every day,
that's going to be an issue.
I do like fish.
Well, you can always just do a modified. You don't have to go full. Like I said before, the paleo is a really good way to go because that's just egg, meat, veggies. That's it.
But I'm looking at all my options. Obviously, losing the weight and that's going to help my overall health.
Absolutely. So then from there, let me see here. I just had a question. I just forgot.
Step is literally
the next step.
The next step.
Okay.
My goal, like I said, I don't want to have expectations, but my goal is to be walking by my birthday, and my birthday is on June 4th, and that is my goal. And I told the physical therapist that is my goal. So whether I get there or not, maybe, but I'm going to be pushing.
And I think the fact that you in a month went to here and you're already bouncing back from a week ago. You said a week ago you couldn't even open your hands, right?
Yeah, my hands I couldn't feed my
man. I think that's 100% attainable. And do they know how you were how this happened? That's the one question I don't think I asked.
This is what I was told. They said normally this condition they see in HIV positive or hepatitis patients. I tested negative for everything, so they don't know. It could have been the common virus.
Do they even know it's CIDP? Do they know that for sure? Okay, they know that for sure.
There's no test for CIDP. The only way they confirm it is that you've been having the symptoms for a while, and they test your spinal fluid, and that hurt. 4 vials.
I had a friend of mine do that.
And the protein, elevated proteins and my proteins were elevated. But everything else they tested me for was negative. They tested me for MS. They tested for lupus. They tested for metals.
And so you could even have it. You could be the 1 in 100,000.
Could be, yeah.
Because do the other 10 people like in 100? Do the majority of those people always tend to have HIV or hepatitis?
I don't know. They just said it was common.
So
they tested me for those things, and all the tests they said I was negative. I was fine, which is good news.
Yeah, hell yeah! Thank God you don't have HIV or hepatitis. I mean,
my wife thinks that I got it from a flu shot. They tell me no, but from what I've read some stuff that it's possible people get reactions.
I'll tell you what, I've never gotten a flu shot before. I got one this year. Never been more sick in my entire life.
Yeah. And see, I would get flu shots regularly. Now I can't because I got this. I won't get those shots.
That's like, I don't need you to put a flu in. Exactly.
So whether or not I got it from the flu shot, I don't know.
Right.
But all I do know is I will never get a flu shot again, and my wife won't get one either.
Yeah. So. And then so other than that, I mean, yeah, on there.
Yeah,
and then make sure we'll get your GoFundMe on. I have that posted on my Facebook right now, on my Instagram. I have your 411 Kicks, I believe it is. Kick 411, yeah. And then I have your YouTube, the Ron Zone, right?
Ron Zone 01.
Ron Zone, yeah, I have it all. I had posted that all on there, and I'll make sure I'll repost it again. Is there anything else though?
Just when I recover, I want to help people.
When you recover, I would love to have you back on the show.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely come back
because that would be.
I plan on doing non-contact martial arts program. It's going to be free.
Okay.
So maybe when I come back, I'll tell more information.
Absolutely.
That's kind of something I've been working on in my head, and just putting it on paper, and it's just going to be my main goal with that is I believe that people can live the life of a black belt without fighting. learn to train, have the discipline, all that stuff. So, non-contact martial arts can give you a venue where you can, live that way,
Right.
live that life, and you don't have to have the fear of getting hurt.
Mhm.
Because some people don't want to get hurt,
No.
or some people think they're too old, or some people just, I'm not a violent person. The training, and I want to, give them some sort of introduction so that they can, get started on that.
Awesome. And you plan on doing that when
I recover, yeah, and it is going to be free.
And then that's going to be aside from your being a professor, right?
Yeah,
you're still going to be teaching at your Kaiji Kembo studio.
Kembo, but the other one,
it's called the studio, right?
Yeah. Or right now I'm at the rec center.
Okay.
So
well, not making sure it's not like a dojo or
no, it's not a dojo. I actually at the Rancho Bernardo Rec Center. The program is going to be called Safe Martial Arts.
Safe Martial Arts.
And what SAFE stands for is safety, awareness, and fitness for everyone.
Okay, cool.
So Safe Martial Arts.
I like it. I like it.
So that's something I came up with, and it's going to be fitness, more awareness, and just everyone can do it.
Oh man, that'll be really. I might have to sign up for that. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
And then, so that you said that will be at the Rancho Bernardo Rec Center.
Yes. I'm hoping that they'll let me do it. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Especially, I volunteer. Well, now I'm not dancing, but I volunteer every Friday. The B-boys practice at the Rancho Bernardo Rec Center. Okay,
that was going to be the last thing I was going to ask. If anybody wanted to get into B-boying, who's listening to this.
We're there every Friday, Spectre Crew. We got different people come out, and it's from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Rancho Bernardo Rec Center. And if you want to learn, this is the best place to come.
How bad I am at dancing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you once again for listening to the Nick Haeling podcast. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Thank you so much, man. That was awesome. Now make sure that I send this to your YouTube as well.